I'm at the Siemens Energy booth at DTECH 2025. I'm standing here with Susan, a cybersecurity expert who's helping utilities navigate this really tricky time of load growth when everything is getting smarter out at the grid edge. Susan, can you tell me a little bit about your experience and how you're helping your customers navigate this tricky spot?
Sure. Well, as the VP and Global Head of Grid Cybersecurity for Siemens Energy, we're really focused on the grid operator that is transforming from brownfield to greenfield. And as you know, there's a lot of complexities and that's constantly evolving. So we're focused on supporting a multi-vendor environment, so being asset agnostic, as well as looking at using military defense tactics applied to the grid. So that's what we're primarily focused on.
It seems like utilities have more and more to be worried about as energy becomes more distributed and they've got more assets out on the grid edge. How do you envision the future working out in a dynamic where utilities need to be mindful of protecting those assets from cyber attacks?
So we are very involved with the NERC, as well as the EU NIS2. So from a global perspective, as well as really looking at 62443 standards. What that relates to is looking at more of a pivotal type of solution for the grid operator, because when they are a high or medium registered entity, or they are a high or medium voltage capacity, their requirements change, right, with the compliance standards. So with high, they need to have on-prem solutions. So we need to be able to have a pivotal solution from both an on-prem to a hybrid to a cloud solution. And the cloud solutions are hybrid or private cloud. That is how we're addressing it. A lot of the solutions that are IIoT or on the edge really require a secure remote access solution. So we're looking at those type of solutions for our clients.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. From your seat at the table, what's the number one thing that people aren't talking about enough?
You know what? Let me think about that for a second. If you look at the grid as being a critical component of national and world security, maybe not thinking about how often substations are connected directly to military bases, to talking about our hospitals, to talk about our municipalities, AI data centers. So when the grid is impacted, right, it not only can be a resiliency and availability issue, obviously a security issue, but can be a safety issue as well. Because when cyber attackers are successful, things can go boom. So we want to make sure that things don't go boom.
Things going boom in a good way for Siemens Energy this week at DTECH. Would you like to share some major announcements that you guys are making and some projects you're working on?
Absolutely. So we're working very closely with NVIDIA. And one of the things that we're working on is rolling out cyber AI agents. So utilizing the NVIDIA Morpheus cyber AI framework, we're actually able to create agents that scan the entire data lake of transmission and distribution data and look for cyber attack vectors. We are also looking at simulation of potential cyber attack vectors, like the Volt Typhoon malware that is being utilized right now, to see if it can penetrate laterally across the grid, and if it can, closing those gaps. We're also working on a threat detection environment that is utilizing voltage inference physics information. So very excited about the R&D that we're doing in that area.
How does AI help you right now? It's a bit of a double-edged sword as we try to feed the power suck of all these data centers. Yeah. It's also streamlining operations for utilities.
Yeah, so that it is a double-edged sword, and we're actually using AI to protect us from AI. One of the reasons that we were so excited about using the Morpheus Cyber AI platform is actually something that NVIDIA uses for their own development security operations. So they're using it to make sure that they are a secure solution. So we're applying it to make sure that we're looking for any type of AI malicious code, and to put guardrails around the AI to make sure that we are focused on making good decisions and as it learns over a period of time.
Last question for you, Susan. You've been on a DTECH for a minute now and had some conversations with your colleagues and peers in the industry, I'm sure. Is there a common thread that you've discovered in those conversations, or a takeaway or a sentiment from this week so far?
Absolutely. So, of course, the major focus here is grid modernization, right? And you really need to know what you have today because it's not going to be a complete forklift change, right? It's going to be a phased approach. So, really being able to focus on a compliance led grid modernization solution, anticipating new standards like NERC CIP 015 or looking at the use of cloud. So we're very involved with the NERC CTAG group and looking at how cloud can be utilized, as well as really looking at feasibility studies, making sure that we have a plan for the future, making sure that we actually are collecting the data and insights for good cybersecurity decisions, and that is not typically just insider threat intel, right? It's also taking all of your monitoring data from your assets, from your transformers, from your switchgear, from your perimeter scanning, and utilizing all that data and actually pushing it to the security operations center so that we can be proactive in protecting our grid.